Billy has trained horses all his life and typically sells them for a substantial profit. There are huge financial gains to be made in this business. The horse he had trained for the past 2 months, however, showed enough potential to push Billy to enter a contest with him. But he never should have. When a member of the jury saw the horse enter the ground, he immediately approached Billy. He told him that his horse had to have a blood test before he could enter the race. Billy knew this was unusual and went to the vet. The vet informed him that he had just called the police and they were coming. Billy was heartbroken and in disbelief. When the police arrived, they immediately began asking Billy questions. What had he done wrong? They informed Billy that his horse was in the operating room and that he hoped he would make it out alive. Billy answered questions about himself and the horse he had owned for about a year. But what had the veterinarian found inside the horse that had so incredibly shocked him? Before Billy could even figure out what was going on, he was escorted away by the police. And he was tossed into the police car. He asked one of the officers if his horse was okay. Billy was very concerned. He was then taken to the nearest police station for questioning. He asked about what? The officers told him he had a few minutes to think while he checked with the veterinarian to see if the horse was still alive, after which the questioning would begin. Billy felt his heart sinking. His horse was in apparent danger. Billy explained to the police officers that he had been training the horse for about a year. He really wanted a strong horse to train and participate in racing. When he came across this horse, he immediately knew he had the best horse to win every race with. The officials asked him where he had taken the horse. Billy began to tell the whole story. His old horse and his best friend had just died. After his death, he wanted a new one right away in order to forget all the pain and suffering. At that moment, he started to take shortcuts. How to trust the wrong people. If Billy was not the one who had caused the horse so much pain and suffering, the agents had to find out who was responsible. Billy could only think of 2 people who could have caused all this. Billy's first hypothesis was the animal shelter from which the horse had been taken. The owners were a little shady. Billy said he met 2 horse breeders online. The second breeder, Mark, had 2 counties ready to be sold. Billy recalled asking the breeder how his horse got so strong. However, Mark avoided the question. The horse was muscular, had beautiful dark brown eyes, and Billy didn't hesitate for a second and took the opportunity. The police had to get more information on this Mark. In order to get the information of the sale of the horse, they needed to obtain the horse's papers. However, Billy explained that Mark would email the documents later, but he never did. The police decided that for the time being, they would trust Billy and search for Mark. They suspected that Billy was still withholding key information, but they would first look for the breeder's trail. Perhaps this would have led to more valuable information. Billy pointed out that he had acquired the horse from a person named Mark Ramos. A search of the police database came up with a positive result. Mark Ramos was a licensed breeder. He was summoned for questioning. In the end, everything cleared up with the breeder, as he showed up with the correct documents regarding the horse. He provided everything he needed to prove his innocence. Mark even provided the police with blood samples taken prior to the sale. They then turned to Billy again. These champions had made sure Mark was fired. Now they turned to Billy once again. He had some explaining to do. Billy had an idea of who probably got him into this trouble: his horse trainer. Shortly after receiving the horse, Billy began looking for a new horse trainer to train his precious new asset. David told Billy that he would be able to get the horse ready for competitions in no time. Billy began to wonder if this was the right decision, but continued just the same. What is even more grim is that every time the trainer went to Billy's house, Billy could not see him training with the horse. However, Billy saw the horse getting stronger every week. The horse became very muscular. and Billy knew he would win as many races as he wanted. His ambition blinded him. The officers thought Billy had gone crazy, that he had made this man up. The police captain overheard the whole conversation and decided to let Billy describe David for a sketch so he could help him calm down. Billy agreed. Billy recounted David's appearance in detail. And finally, after about an hour, they were ready to show the sketch to the police captain. The officers who were questioning Billy were not convinced, but were instructed to cooperate. They made sure the drawing was scanned so they could match it to any known person in the police database. Process took only a second. Billy was on the razor's edge. Then suddenly, they had a potential answer. The identity check was ready. The police captain was speechless. He didn't tell anyone what was going on. He told the officers to follow him and put Billy in a holding cell. Billy could not fight back. Otherwise, he would have been charged with obstruction of justice. He started crying. He just wanted to go home. All these years of hard work, and now Billy was in a holding cell for a possible crime? He knew he had not committed? But what strange behavior the police captain had engaged in. He paled when he saw the results, but didn't say anything to Billy. Billy was allowed to call someone, so he decided to call his wife Erica. What he heard next was crazy. His horse was all over the news. Billy knew he was in big trouble if the suspect wasn't caught. After about 5 hours, he heard a loud noise. It was the police captain. He came to pick him up from his holding cell and told him he would be taken to another room. Billy wasn't sure what was going on. The captain looked serious. Billy was surprised when he was taken to another room, and when he looked up, he was speechless. There was a line of 5 men right behind the glass window. The captain told him to point to the man who had trained the horse. Billy looked at all of these men, but one in particular stood out: his former horse trainer. Billy had a small moment of joy. "Number 4, said to the police captain, who told him not to smile again. The captain asked simple questions. Billy had to confirm that it was indeed the man who had trained the horse. The man was not known as David and continued to deny that he ever dealt with the horse. Then they decided to fingerprint him. They did a complete check on this man. Yet another name came up: Michael. This man had already been in prison for medical offenses and had changed his name several times. The police was actually looking for this man, but what had he done to Billy's horse? The police got a warrant to search the offender's house. And when they entered, they found a large amount of illegal substances that could be used on different animals. They also freed dogs and cats from cages they were illegally being kept in. The man even had a huge snake in his living room. Billy wanted answers, and an officer explained the situation shortly thereafter. This man was not an expert on horses, but he also had a history of criminal medical activities. The police were already looking for him and had alerted veterinarians because he had a tendency to try new medical treatments on different types of animals. But what exactly did he do to Billy's horse? Billy was quickly cleared of charges, but it was still unclear what was wrong with his horse. Billy begged the officers to let him return to his horse. He wanted to be with him. The officers agreed and assured Billy that they would put pressure on Michael. Billy was escorted by the police to the veterinarian's office, where his horse was. He hoped his horse was still alive. He couldn't bear for his horse to die, as he needed to win races. When he entered the office, the receptionist immediately ran to Billy. She assured him that his horse was still alive. The veterinarian had assured him that he would do everything he could to ensure his horse made it. Then Billy heard a loud noise coming from the operating room. "Here we are." The police and Billy quickly went to the operating room to find out what was going on. Then they saw the vet holding something in his hand. What the hell was this? The vet noticed two strange things on the ultrasound, and one of them was a medical chip in the horse's belly. When the vet saw it, he realized he had to call the police. The police were looking for that chip, as it had been illegally manufactured by the trainer who helped Billy. To remove the chip and trace it back to the expert, the police helped the veterinarian with the surgery. Not only did they remove the chip, they also came across the illegal substance they had found in the blood sample. This was the second thing the veterinarian noticed. The combination of the chip, which gave electric shocks to the horse during the race, and the illegal substance in the blood that gave the horse his muscles, they were a powerful combination to make this horse the best, which is illegal. That's why they were looking for Michael. He was trying to breed the best racehorses. The chip was used to track the horse and then steal it from the owners in order to make a lot of money. Thanks to Billy, they managed to extract the chip without damaging it, thus identifying the criminal organization behind Michael. They did it using the same device he would use to track the horses. He got a taste of his own medicine. Billy finally decided not to participate in any more races. Together with his family and horses, he now lives a fantastic life. In the end, he also got a visa to breed new horses. Billy decided to focus only on the commercial side of horses and promised to never again race. This bad experience marked him deeply, which is why he decided to stop racing.